Very pleased to have Wayne Cashman, the captain of the Bruins, as my guest. And Wayne, I have read from writers and heard from commentators that Wayne Cashman has just gone through his best season ever in the NHL. I don't want to embarrass you by the question, but do you agree?
Well, I had a fairly good, at the end of the season, I started a little slow, and then Don Cherry came to me and told me that I was going to play right wing and be in right wing for the rest of the season, and I sort of relaxed after that. I got my confidence, and I finished up the season, I thought, very well for myself, and I was happy because it helped our team win our division and second overall in the league.
The Bruins defeated Philadelphia, Wayne, in 5 games. Maybe a capsule analysis from you of how that series went.
Well, it was a very tough series. It was an aggressive series. There was a lot of hitting, a lot of skating. Our goaltender, Jerry Cheevers, played exceptionally well in the games that we won. There was a couple of games that could have went either way, but later on, the 3rd and 4th game, I thought our team came on and played very well. I thought we started to get our momentum back.
Wayne, this is the new edition of the Bruins, really, in many respects. And Harry Sinden once said that your role changed when Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito left the hockey team. Do you agree with that?
Well, I guess maybe. I always had so much respect for Bobby and Phil, and they were such great, great hockey players. And, you know, they were our leaders, and they could do so much as Lafleur can do now for this club. And you sort of sit in awe of them, even though all the years I played with them, that I was still in awe of them. And when they left, I realized we didn't have Bobby and Phil, and we didn't have the big 50-goal scorers, and we had to be closer as a team, and each guy had to contribute, so we had to get a bunch of guys that want to be part of a team and play hard and want to win, and that seems to be the style of our team today. All
right, the new breed Bruins. Now you're in the Stanley Cup Final for 2 years in a row. Internally, off the ice, what makes this team tick? Because obviously there's something going for it.
Well, these guys just believe in hard work. They know what it is to go out and work hard, and the joys and success of working hard, and it's a team that sticks together very closely, and they enjoy working hard and winning, and they get a good feeling from working hard and winning.
All right, the Canadian series now, as you look ahead to this year's edition of the finals, what makes the Canadiens tick, really? I mean, to you, the main thing as their success?
Well, they're just a great hockey club in every department. You know, defense, goaltending, forward, hitting, passing, shooting. They can do everything well. And what a team has to realize that if there's a way to beat the Canadiens, it's just got to be through hard work and maybe catch the Canadiens when they're off a bit or get them a couple goals down and try to panic. But they're a great hockey club, and they do everything well. And they also enjoy winning. They enjoy working hard and winning. They got some players as Larry Robinson that just enjoys hard work, and they enjoy working hard and winning.
We heard in the Detroit series and again in the Toronto series, Wayne, that maybe you can slow the Canadiens down with the body. Do you believe this?
Well, our team will probably take the body, not because I think we can slow the Canadiens down, but I think our team plays better when we hit. I don't think our hitting will be to try to affect the Canadiens, because I think they can also play the body. But I think when our team hits, our team plays a lot better than if it doesn't hit.
Wayne, thank you, and congratulations to you and the Bruins on a fine season.
Thank you, Dick.
Wayne Cashman, captain of the Boston Bruins, will return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
Well, Danny, we are here with the first star of the game, Gary Doak. I'm not sure that even those people who thought the Bruins might win tonight figured it would be 4-0 in such a dominant performance, 36-23 shots on goal. Before we talk to Gary, any quick impressions of how the Bruins did it?
Well, I don't think I'll ever remember seeing Montreal really having no puck control at all in another team's zone. Boston just didn't give them hardly a chance all night long. They control the puck for the most part in their own zone. Besides checking them so well all over the ice so closely, they really gave them no opportunities. They got the puck out so quickly that Montreal never could mount an attack all night long.
What's on your mind to ask this fellow who played the whole Boston defense, the whole Boston team, but we singled out Gary Doak? 1 goal, the winning goal, and a great game back at the Blue Jays.
Well, Gary played an outstanding game back there, but I'd have to say, Gary, I've never seen a hockey club, not even the Boston teams when they won the Stanley Cup, that are able to control the board so well in their own zone like your team. Have you ever seen a disciplined club like this before?
That's what we've been trying to do the last 2 games especially, Louis. We've been trying to control the boards, and the first game in Montreal, we didn't play our game. I think we went up there just after beating Montreal out, and we're a little flat, but the last 2 games we try to control the boards a little bit and work them in their end. That's what you have to do to beat the Montreal Canadiens, because they got a great defense and you got to force them.
What sort of a lift did you feel that your goal and then the second goal of the game by Middleton gave the Bruins? Did that really help you control a team such as Montreal?
Well, I'd guess that my goal came real early in the game, sort of helped, and Ricky's got his bang right away too, and it helped, but Montreal Canadiens never let up, and even when we're up 3-0, you know, you're a little nervous. You got to keep forcing them because they keep coming at you. Larry Robinson's up the ice all the time when they were down 3-0, and he played a terrific game.
Anything else for Gary?
Well, Gary, are you aware when hockey clubs are going to play against you, they're going to go to the boards in your zone and try and trap the puck in there?
Yes, I think so. Like tonight, we tried to force them in their end and tried to make them come up the middle, and consequently, they were going the boards, and their end we're forcing them.
Must be a great feeling not only to be in a Stanley Cup final, but for you to be healthy. We assume everything is fine. You've had so many tough breaks with injuries that this has to be probably the high point of your career, if I could put those words in your mouth.
I think right now, just coming back off the injury, I was out March 9th for almost 2 months, I guess it was, and I played the last 2 games in Philadelphia, and then I played the next 3, so it's good to get back in there.
Well, Gary Doak, congratulations to you and the whole Boston Bruin team for such a convincing victory over the Canadiens. We all realize that one victory, of course, doesn't make a series, but it certainly makes it an interesting series, and we're looking forward to Sunday. Good luck to you there.
Thanks, Dave.
Gary Doak of the Boston Bruins will be back with Lou Nanne's further comments as we return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
All right, Dave Hodge is standing by downstairs with a very well-known gentleman, a paper lion who tried to play goal for the Bruins in the exhibition season or before the regular campaign. So here's Dave.
That man is George Plimpton, who seems set, trying to do everything he can in life. Does this game, watching it for you, fill another void?
Well, it's been quite a void, hasn't it? I didn't want to be down here at all. I just can't believe what's happened there. 41 seconds, was it?
19:27, 33 seconds remaining in the game. Your comment suggests that your allegiance to the Bruins, which started in preseason, is continuing tonight.
It's enormous. In fact, I hit the man on my left by mistake out of anguish, threw a beer over the press. I behaved very badly.
George, what did you find out about the Boston Bruins being as close as you were to them and actually putting on the sweater and playing in an exhibition game for fun, shall we say? Maybe you wouldn't say that, but what kind of a feeling do you get being around these people?
Well, it wasn't fun being in the barrel, as they say, or the nets, but I must say that getting to know that team and getting to experience their humor and their comradeship and what it is to be part of a team is one of the richest experiences as a participatory journalist that I've ever had. It's no wonder that I've misbehaved in the press box. I mean, one gets as close to a team doing that as one does to a family, and it's very hard to see what happened just now happen, but they're going to come back in the overtime, I think. I watched the overtime the other night in a place called the Explorers Club, up in a lonely room there watching on television, and I let out such a cry of anguish that I thought the beasts on the wall had somehow gone to pee. There was servitors down below, came running up to see what was going on down there, so I feel terribly strongly about this team. I apologize to all the Canadian folk there, but my heart is with these people, I must say.
George, do you feel a little closer to Jerry Cheevers than to anybody else, considering the fact that was your position, if I might say that?
Well, he kept telling me to stand up all the time, and which I couldn't do. I mean, I can barely skate. But my goodness, what a job he's done in there tonight. Plus the fact that he has this bad knee, as you know, so that sort of a double thrill that he's giving everybody. Crippled on one hand and yet playing, I think, the game of his life. Extraordinary to see.
How would playing at goal or playing goal in the NHL compare to a myriad of other things that you've done?
Well, it's very peaceful when the puck is at the other end. You can sort of stand there, you do a little housekeeping and so forth. But I want to tell you, when it comes down to your end, and there are those 10 people with those barrel trousers and those strange disembodied faces, and you're supposed to see the puck in there, I don't know of anything that's more horrifying in sports. And it doesn't stop. In football, once the play's over, there's a whistle, and you can sort of lie there and you know that you've got a little bit of breathing space. But when that puck moves as fast and as constantly as it does, I don't know of anything that puts as much pressure on a participant.
George, when the winning goal goes in, we will have a good idea of what you'll be doing, whether it be Boston and you're cheering, or the Canadiens, and there is more anguish. It has been very pleasant for us to have you with us, even if you did not want to see the overtime take place. George Plimpton, our guest in the first overtime intermission, as we get set for a period of 20 minutes or less that could decide this fourth game of the Stanley Cup Final. And we'll return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment. The excitement in here, or perhaps the hectic pace, is just the same as it is out there on the ice, with the Boston Bruins winning and Bobby Schmautz taking a well-deserved sip. And we want to look at the goal, as I'm sure you would like to see it coming back. Bobby, the best shot possible, I think. Beat Ken Dryden just as cleanly as you could want. And when we see it come up, why don't you just talk us through it?
Well, I have to see it. Donnie Marcotte gets the puck, and he's getting it up to Shep here. And as we're coming, and I'm coming late, and I'm trying to hang back, and Sheppy just lays it lays it over to Marcotte, and I just shoot it on the ice, and I think that's Larry Robinson going down. I don't think Dryden's seen it now. It's the only one that I got on the ice. I usually shoot them high, and it went in.
Intentionally on the ice with Robinson there or not?
I just got it. I just tried to shoot as soon as I got it, and fortunately enough, it went in.
Bobby, what was the feeling in the dressing room after the Canadiens had tied it so dramatically in the final minute of the third period?
It wasn't the best feeling, but we said, hey, we got it this far right now, and let's go out and give it our best try, and whatever happens is going to happen.
Did you have the feeling that the entire series was riding on what would happen in the overtime?
Well, definitely. I mean, going back to building 3-1, you know, no matter how hard you want, that's still a mental block on you. So we knew we had to try to win it, and we didn't really want to open up with these guys. They've got a lot of offensive scorers on us, so we wanted to keep it tight checking, and fortunate enough, we got a couple breaks.
You have some confidence because of the fact the way you played in game number 2. Many people thought the Bruins could have and perhaps should have won it in the regulation time. It went to the overtime, and of course Montreal had the better of the play. But does that help you going back to the Forum? Well,
that was the best game that we played in the last couple of years against them. Was that, excuse me, that second game, and gave us a little, I guess, a little, I don't know really what you'd call it, a little more encouragement and everything. And we came in here and we played a pretty good game in the third game, and then tonight it was a struggle, I'll tell you that.
Well, there's a celebration in that dressing room now. We'll let you get to it, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Bobby Schmautz, who scores the winning goal for the Boston Bruins.
One of the reasons the Boston Bruins are where they are this Stanley Cup playoff year has been the fine play of Rick Middleton. And Rick, I'm going to throw something at you. A youngster said to me the other day, why don't you ask the hockey players who their favorite teams were when they were growing up as kids, all right? I'm going to ask you.
I never really had a favorite team. I used to listen to the Sunday night games on the radio, and I guess Toronto from growing up there. Right. You know, Frank Mahovlich and the boys, Davey Keon back in those days, Johnny Bauer. But nobody really stuck out in my mind.
Pretty good team to cheer for. Going into the finals this year, the attitude in the Bruin ranks this year as compared to last, as you began the finals, Rick, against the Canadiens, it had to be different.
It was. We only had one day off in between instead of that big 6 last year. And we weren't mentally prepared going into the finals this year, but we were physically. And it took its toll in that first game, but we didn't lose our confidence, and we came back. I thought we played really well in the second game. And as I said to a couple of times to other reporters, our confidence could have been any higher if we had a win in the overtime, really, going into back to Boston for the 2 games. Our confidence was right up there, and I think we showed that.
When you went back to Boston, you had the good win in Game 3, and Peter McNabb said to me after the game, he thought that it all began with that standing ovation the fans gave the Bruins, and in particular Jerry Cheevers. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, I do, definitely. Those fans are really good. They have been pretty quiet all year, but they come up when we needed them, and I think they got Cheesy up for the game, really, too. He's not an emotional man, but I think they really did a lot for him, too.
Rick, you started your National Hockey League career with the New York Rangers. The switch from New York, the Big Apple, as it were, to Boston, what were the main things in your mind?
Just the overall system was going from a team that was always struggling to a team that was already up there. So the pressure was off quite a bit to that sense, but I had to fit in the system. And it took me almost the whole first year to get into that system that Don likes you to play. And he kept on me and kept on me. Sometimes I took it personal, and some of the guys would talk to me. And until about the last month of the season, when the whole team started clicking, I started feeling more comfortable, and that's when we went like 15-2-2 and ended up in 3rd place overall. And I sort of just started clicking the same time as everybody else.
What about the contrast between the 2 cities? For example, do you walk down the street in Boston and feel you're recognized, whereas you might not
lately
be the same?
Lately, it's been happening that way. Anytime we go in, it's happening. But it's a lot smaller town than New York, and you ought to appreciate it a little more, and especially because we're up there and we're winning. But I enjoyed New York when I was there for the 2 years. Well, the first year was a good year. We had a good hockey team. The second year, there was a lot of troubles politically and player-wise, and 3 different coaches. But I enjoyed it when I was there. But I was happy when I was traded to Boston because it could have been anywhere else.
And you've been in the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. At this time, it's a long season. It's been a long playoff. What about Don Cherry's routine? For example, practicing. Is he doing anything a little different now, easing off a bit because of the length of the campaign?
Oh, sure. At this time of the year, you always ease off. We go out there and we joke around. Maybe we have a few line rushes and that, but you got to keep it loose. And you really can't. We're in about as top shape as we can get, so you're not going to stress the skating. We're playing practically every other day. So you just want to go out there and stay loose and stay crisp. So you have a few line rushes, but let the guys joke around.
You scored an overtime goal against the Flyers a year ago. You scored one this year. Was the feeling the same, or is the first one a little special?
Well, maybe the first one was a little special, but they were both just as important. And maybe the first one last year because it was in Philadelphia, and we had to at least get one of those games, and that was the first game. and we ended up taking the second one also, but I didn't know it at that time. So it was really, last year was #1, but this year was awfully special.
Finally, I understand that you are planning to be married. You're going to be married
Yes.
just shortly after that's all over. When is that?
It'll be June 17th. I'm marrying a girl from Granby.
And you're settling in Boston.
Yes, I just bought a house in Boston, in a town about half an hour outside of Boston.
Well, on behalf of the fans, I'm sure they join me in wishing you congratulations and the best wishes in the marriage and in the playoffs.
Thanks very much, Dick.
Rick Middleton of the Boston Bruins will return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
One of the great scorers in the National Hockey League, the 4th all-time goal scorer with the Boston Bruins, 43-year-old Johnny Busick, who's not in action for the Bruins, but played 21 seasons with Boston, 23 in the NHL. And, John, after all that experience, have you ever seen anything like your coach Don Cherry did at the end of the period, keeping his people on the ice? What was his intention?
Well, Dan, I'll tell you, if you're going to see a new thing or something happen, it'll be with Don, because he's the greatest for that. But I think Don's intentions were probably, #1 is that the officials left the ice before all the players were off, and that's a no-no. I think the officials are supposed to stay till all the players are off. But I think also that Don probably put those players out. They're the ones that haven't been playing too much, and he probably put them out and left them out to get a good skate, because he could have intentions of using them more in this next period.
Yeah, there was people like Wensick and some of the people who hadn't played. John, I mentioned 43 years of age, 23 years in this league, the great scoring exploits that you've had in your career. I've heard talk that you may come back and play again next year. Have you decided on that yet?
Well, I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I never think of my age, because I always say you're only as old as you feel, and this year I really felt great, although I didn't have an opportunity to play too much. But I think I'd like to have another try. Maybe just playing spot hockey this year might have helped me recover from my injury that I had last year and making me feel so well. But I'll think about it after the playoffs. I never discuss my next year. I go year by year, and I think you probably know that I've only had, in all my whole career, I've only had one multi-year contract, and that was only for 3 years. But I've only had a year by year contract, and then I decide in June what I'm going to do when it's time to sit down and relax. And of course, again, I'm a free agent 1st of June, so I had a few calls last year, some interesting ones, and hopefully I might get some this year, and then again, I might just stay with the Bruins. It's something you got to wait. I don't think about it until it comes.
You have to be awfully proud of the way this Boston club has played in this playoff series.
Well, I think we couldn't be any prouder. This club, they claim we don't have any superstars. I feel we do have a few, but we're a togetherness club. We got a lot of young players, and they've worked well together. And I'll tell you, when you can be in a semi or in the finals with Montreal and be like we lose tonight, it's 3-2. So there's still a lot of hockey. There's still 2 more games to go. Anything can happen, and this has been a proud club.
Thanks, Chief, for talking to us.
My pleasure, Dan.
Coming up, Chico Resch and Lunani will return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment. The smiles grow wider for most of the Montreal Canadiens, who are celebrating their 3rd straight Stanley Cup victory. You just saw Mario Tremblay, who scored 2 very important goals in this clinching victory. Many members of the media getting quotes from the victorious Canadiens. And, of course, the Boston Bruins have been congratulated for their efforts in this final, and with one of the top Boston players, Peter McNabb, is Dick Irvin.
All right, Dave, and of course, when you have a winner, you have to have a loser. Peter, I know you'd like to make a comment or two on behalf of your very gallant hockey club.
Well, I was asked to come down here and represent my team and sincerely congratulate the Montreal Canadiens, the players and the organization for just playing a fantastic series. We gave it everything we could. I thought our team played it as gallantly, as courageously as we possibly could. But the Montreal Canadiens are indeed a tremendous representative of the National Hockey League and probably the toughest opponent any team's going to come up against. And once again, I'd just like to congratulate every one of them right from top to bottom on behalf of our hockey team and wish them, I hope they really enjoy the cup because they really deserve it. They played extremely well.
Peter, one final comment. Overall, it has to be a pretty satisfying season for you and the Bruins because you had a good campaign.
Well, you just feel like the rest of the masses when you don't win, but it's never easy to accept the defeat, especially when you come this far and you lose in your own building. But they played extremely well, as I said, and they are the champions, and there's nothing we can do about that this year.
Peter, thank you very much for coming down and speaking on behalf of the Bruins in that way.
Thank you.
Peter McNabb of the Boston Bruins.